And the upper right in the red, he's for Talon now. The best player not on Meisenhower's top 10 list. Well, one of the best at the very least. It's Dark. Bottom left in the blue. He's playing for the Rebellion. He's a Terran player. It's ByuN. Dark going for a 15-15 in this game number 1 of our series. Now, this shouldn't surprise anyone all that much necessarily. This is certainly a map that, well, and any map that ByuN can get aggressive on. But we're on Post Youth, and Post Youth is a weird map. You got a free main base, right? Zerg players are not all that happy about that. Terran player can go wall this off. They get 2 bases for free. It's gold, and yeah, it's a really small base in terms of how much money it's. You know, you got 3 gold patches, 3 blue patches, so it's only 6 patches, not 8, which is already small. And then half of them have less money in them anyways. You know, 1,800 versus 24. I could have sworn that gold minerals had less on the full stack than the blue minerals do. But anyways, you know, there are 2 less mineral patches worth of money on this base than a normal expansion would be. So yeah, you get the free natural and you do accelerate your mining quite a bit, but it will mine out just a little bit faster. And this mineral wall is not enough to make up for it. So Zerg, it forces them to expand faster, right? It gives their opponent a pretty free natural. It's just a really awkward map for Zergs to play on. So I'm really happy that that Dark didn't veto this as we get into this series. I mean, obviously, maybe he doesn't think it's all that bad. Maybe it's not as bad as my initial thoughts about this map are. Maybe that is the case. But I think also, you know, we're a week into the new map pool, and it's EPT Korea. It's not for it's for money, certainly. It's for EPT points, but it's not as ooh, Dark there. Keeps all of his drones alive and gets the Reaper. Love that. Well played, Dark. But yeah, it's not for a ton of money, so pros may not be as really hardcore in the picks and bans as they might otherwise be, which gives us an opportunity to go and take a look at new maps and figure out what exactly is that. Like, how do we feel about these new maps? How good are they? How bad are they? Maybe we can learn some things. So thank you, Dark, for giving us access to this map, for letting us explore what's going to happen. And by the way, you have this free natural, right? But this third base is very far away from the natural. Getting creep spread over there is a bit of a pain. There's these kind of awkward, weird bases in the middle, right? This is technically a base, but I mean, I don't know if Dark's going to take it. I'm actually very curious to see where his 4th base is going to be. I think technically it should be here, but who knows? Maybe he does take the gold. No, that's going to make that. Oh no, Dark. He goes and he attacks this. He attacks the creep tumor. And then that was the damage differential between the Hellions killing the creep tumor or not. Oh, that's unfortunate. Now, yeah, okay, he's going to take this bottom side base. That is, again, man, this is so pushable. And by the way, this is also a 4-minute 4th base. This is a very quick 4th base. Now, granted, it's half gold. It's gold base here. It's really weird. Man, I'm so excited to learn more about this map because it is wild how this thing works. But for now, the Roach Warren is done. We're going to see some roaches on the map, but Dark hasn't opened a ton of free supply. Not significantly so. And, well, he's on 4 gas. Well, yeah, he's on 4 gases. So these are going to be some defensive roaches. We really shouldn't expect to see too much more than that as the Hellions on the right side. Yeah, okay, they're going to get forced back. So Dark spreading creep to the middle, obviously getting himself set up. And I think this is the ideal eventual base. Again, I'm not totally sure. There's a lot to be learned about this map because one roach moves forward and again shoves the Hellion back, but the roaches that are on the map are not enough to really get too much done, to be honest. They're gonna poke maybe, but the bio's out and it's actually just a dead roach. Dark overextend himself just a little bit, but he's gonna try to take the fight. He thinks he has enough roaches with the 1 behind. No, you don't, Dark. Stim is done. The roaches will die down. There's 1 final roach here on the high ground. Weird move from Dark. If he had his army together, maybe he could make that happen. But for now, it's just these random roaches on the map that they're sharking around, looking for whatever they can find. And they're not finding a lot. Just really not a good trade. But Dark now, he's got the gold base done. He's going to start to saturate this thing as quick as possible. And where do we go from here? Layer's done. 1-1 on the way. No roach speed. Not done yet. Certainly not started yet. So Dark looks like he's just going kind of for a big 1-1 timing off the roaches. I don't see anything that tells me that he's going to be... Well, I guess he's on... Yeah, no, he's on 6 gas, so that's enough for Roach Ravager. I don't see anything that's telling me, oh, okay, this is actually some sort of, you know, late game transition into lurkers very quickly and going for something like that. So just a bunch of roaches, Ravagers eventually, and for now, ByuN double drop into this natural, yeah, main base natural, whatever you want to call it. He's going to try to target the Roach Warren down quick as possible, and that is going to deny Roach speed. That is going to kill the Roach Warren. Even as these Marines go down, you say, yeah, that's pretty worth it, especially as the Hellions are going to dive on and get like 4 workers at the 3rd base. Or this 4th base. Baneling Nest on the way as well. Infestation Pit. I don't know if Dark actually wants those pieces to attack, but it is a bit of a... You know, at least you're dropping some flags down to tell ByuN what's up. And he had to, you know, you saved a couple drones anyways, but it looks like the Baneling Nest will be continued. So Dark... Yes, technically, this is going to be like a 1-1 roach timing. First of all, Roach Warren's not remade, so the roaches are slow. And this supply lead that's opened up, this roach timing that's opened up, is just not going to be all that incredible without speed roaches. So Dark is going to have to restart that if he decides, okay, so he will restart it, but also he's building a bunch of lings. Speed's on the way. He's developing the get round of his tech. He's got to get +1 melee off of this, and the Hive and Ultra Caverns and things like that. He is developing himself into the late game. He kind of understands that this 1-1 timing that he was going for, right, with the roaches and everything else, as the Biles are not going to get the medevac. But this timing that he was going for just because he lost the Roach Warren and because the Roach speed was killed off of this, Dark doesn't really have that timing that he would have liked. So +1 attack, +2 Carapace on the way, melee attack on the way, ByuN adding in, or not ByuN, Dark adding in Banelings and Hive and everything else. ByuN for his part solidly on 3 bases. This is 8 racks. Yes, it is. Okay, well, that's one way to take advantage of the gold base money infusion that ByuN has access to. It's going to be an 8 racks, 4th base on the way, but it is, again, 8 racks before 4th base. Not quite as committed of an 8 racks as like a 3 base would be, but even still, you know, he's building a lot of Marines, a lot of Marauders here, and getting himself ready to have that power. But look at this creep spread from Dark. He's almost on the Terran 4th base. That is a crazy amount of creep spread that Dark's been able to find, in part because ByuN has not been clearing it out until right now. He really hasn't had, he's had like 2 Hellions on the map. He's really building up to this max out. This 2-2, 8 racks max out with just a ton of stuff, Marauders and Marines and everything else. But by the time that hits, Dark's going to have Vipers on the map, maybe. He's going to have more Banelings. The Biles don't really land, but ByuN holds the Zonographer now. He's got tons of vision here where everything is. And the creep is slowly receding. So there is that. Eventually, ByuN's going to be able to take this fight off creep, which is really what you're looking for. This creep right here, man, it's taking forever to run away. That being said, Dark's going to try to engage it once again. Biles on top of the tanks, knocked that down, but it really was not the best shots to be totally frank. Dark kind of missed it first. Banelings are making great connections, though. ByuN continues to kite backwards here. Biles are not going to land, but the Banelings make incredible connections. ByuN oversteps himself a little bit, gets caught, I guess, into a bit of a choke, and now this attack is not nearly as powerful as it otherwise was. I mean, that was a ton. 4 Marauders, 34 Marines. That is a ton of damage all of a sudden. Now again, the army moves forward. Only 2 tanks ready to fire. ByuN this time, it's a lot better trades. The Marauders, they tank the Banes. They trade their lives out fairly nicely, and ByuN now continues to move forward. He's down about 40 army supply, though. 2-2's not done. +2 Carapace is. This is the time of the Dark once where he has all those upgrades, and ByuN doesn't really. Blinding Clouds on top of the Vipers are really good, and that means these tanks are just, they're meat shields. They're not going to get shots on the Banes as well as they would like. ByuN continues to kite backwards here. Banelings are mostly done. 3 on the right side. Is there enough from ByuN on the follow through? The answer is no. Absolutely not. Dark continues to run through in this Roach Hydraling Bane timing, or this Roach Baitling Bane timing. And Dark takes game 1. And this is a map that we should be far more familiar with. Post-Youth feels like a pretty solid non-Zerg map. Feels like a pretty good map against Zerg players, but Alcyone is a map that we have seen quite a bit. It was in the last map pool. It's a very popular map, and well, ByuN's gonna do the build that he has been doing for like the last year on this map. 2 racks in the wall. This was a build that became popular after last Katowice, after Katowice 2022, and then kind of figured out on multiple fronts. You know, Zerg players just dealt with it. And, well, we're not going to see in this game, no 15 pool, 15 hatch or anything like that, but even still, this is very manageable for most players. Dark should, I mean, it is still ByuN, but this is not, it's not quite as powerful as it once was. Still, though, ByuN can get damage done. He can get enough to justify the commitment into this early on. And in general, when the build first started showing up about a year ago, you had like 3 or 4 different follow-ups. You had this ability to go and go to 6 Reapers and cancel the third base and be really committed to it. You would go like 3 Reapers and go to into a 3 racks behind that. And you can do a bunch of different follow-ups, but like ByuN, this build is very much stabilized. Oh, we're gonna see a drone go down by the first Reaper there. Second one, maybe no, he's not gonna be able to stick the landing. Still knocking down a Reaper, or Reaper caught in a corner here. No, it's gonna be fine. There's a Reaper cliff. He's okay. But knocking down a drone that early, delaying the third base as well, catching the drone as it tries to move over, is a beautiful situation for ByuN in this game number 2. Already putting a whole host of just issues for Dark, and now Dark's gonna have to make a pretty tough decision. Does he go and decide to go and just let that? Oh no, ByuN's gonna go. He can't cancel the drone, but that's a second third base attempt. Cancel remake on the extractor as well. ByuN's gonna have to micro away. Gets on top, delays it once again. ByuN, is he gonna get the drone? Is he gonna get the drone? Yes, he does. Loses a Reaper for it, but you consider that thing absolutely worthwhile. It's 3 minutes in. It's 40 supply for a Zerg player. 2 drones are dead. The third base has been delayed for a dog's age. And the problem is as well, like Dark didn't really develop things. He's like, okay, well you're gonna delay my third base. That's fine. I'm gonna really heavily drone up elsewhere. Like he thought he was gonna be able to get that third base up, and I really wasn't able to. So Reapers are gonna try to run away from the Lings as well as they can, put themselves in a pretty only one's gonna get out. But behind this, Dark's got a roach drone on the way. Now, whether this is going to be for aggressive roaches or just to stabilize off of everything that has happened, I don't really know. It's unclear. But regardless, Dark is not in as nearly as happy of a position as he was in game number 1. He's lost a couple drones. Third base delayed pretty long. And yeah, he did get he did kill 2 Reapers. And that is nice. That does shut down any kind of follow-up aggression from ByuN, from like, well, it's 7 minutes and I'm going to run 3 Reapers into your main base. It's going to be great. That's not really a thing. But, you know, the rest of it is oh, man, Dark is going to commit to this a little bit. He's got Ravagers on the way. ByuN is on, I was going to say, I like this for ByuN. He's got Banshees. That's going to be pretty nice. But Dark is committing to this pressure. Now, ByuN is going to see the Roach, and that is going to be a backup signal. There's never just one, right? When you talk about a roach infestation, you talk about a roach infestation, there's never just one. So Bunker's on the way. Stim may be done in time here. ByuN may be able to keep this alive. I'm not sure, but for now it's a Ling, Ravager, Marines in the center of things. And this Stim is very close to completion. With this Banshee on top, Dark's not going to commit to it. Stim will complete in time. ByuN survives that timing, and now, well, this aggression from Dark, Lings and Roaches, with Banshees out, well, doesn't really feel all that promising. Stim's done, the Bunker's done. ByuN first Banshee is onto the other side of the map where it's going to cloak up. And do we have any detection? No, there's no detection anywhere. So Dark's very much in an awkward spot at the moment. He's okay. So now he's got enough to put pressure on the tech lab. The combat shields will be delayed. Where's our second Banshee? It was made. There it is. Okay, so second Banshee's going to arrive. Even as damage is going to get done to these add-ons. It does slow down production a little bit. Barracks will fall, but Banshee puts a timer on top of all this. So Lings are going to try to get on top of this, but there's a Bunker here. SCVs are going to get pulled. Bunker's dead, sure, but so too are all the Marines. All right, the Banshees are going to chase down the rest of this army. They're going to kill a couple SCVs. More and more lings are going to filter through. But I mean, this is not going to work. ByuN's got stim. He can dodge every single thing. ByuN wins game number 2. And we move to game 3. So, no 2 racks Reaper wall in this game 3. As by the way, if you enjoy this, if you enjoy the content that I'm putting out, you should go and hit the sub button on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, you should also sub on Twitch because, hey, that's money in my pocket. But go and follow me on Twitch as well. I stream Monday mornings at 5 a.m. Eastern, which is 6 p.m. Korean time, and then also EPT North America on the other side of things, generally around 8 p.m. Eastern, because I got to get things done. I generally can't get started right at 7. But anyway, with that being said, ByuN, he's going for a Reaper expand as game 3, 16, 18, 17 from Dark. Nothing all that weird. Mining gas should. Now, one thing I wonder about, I guess, the one thing I'm curious about, I guess, from Dark, is he's been playing some delayed speed. Well, he'll get to 100 gas. And, okay, he's just going to start speed up immediately. But he's been playing this setup, and he was doing it a lot last week. Where he'd get himself to like 100 gas, you know, plus or minus some error, but like 100, 104 gas, like enough for speed. And then he would go scout out, and he says, okay, well, what are you doing, opponent? What are you going for? Oh, a ling will go down. Nice job there, ByuN. Okay, opponent of mine, what are you doing? Like, what's your gameplay here? What's your angle in this series? Are you gonna play something that puts pressure on me where I feel like I'm gonna need speed? Okay, sure, I'm gonna get it. Otherwise, I'm gonna delay my speed for quite a while, and therefore, you know, maybe be a little bit more efficient, get a couple more drones out. It's gonna be pretty nice. Dark's not doing that in this series, in part because he knows ByuN's likely to be aggressive. It's just who ByuN is. He wants to make sure if he's gonna open with speed, he's gonna have that at 3:30, not 4 minutes, not 4:30, nothing like that. Especially with how, I mean, ByuN gets another ling with his Reaper, just really well played. But the other thing we got to talk about, though, is first of all, I mean, there's this wall right here that we may see Dark start to mine out and take the linear third. But for now, he's taking the very forward third base. Rich gas, certainly, that's important to point out. But also, it's a really nice avenue to get your creep spread pretty far forward onto the map, as this Reaper will finally die. ByuN, you know, it's past speed, so it really wasn't going to last all that much longer anyways. I do like this decision from ByuN to go Hellion Banshee once again. First of all, Dark's a roach guy, so if you know your opponent's gonna go roaches, you go and open Banshees, and that's just a really good idea. On top of that, this positioning from Dark, and again, we don't see roaches at the moment. He may not go for them, but this positioning from Dark with this really aggressive third base location, apparently, well, one would think means that you're gonna go roaches off that. You're gonna take this aggressive position and try to leverage it onto the other side of the map. Just really get that reinforcement line going. But for now, there's no roach war. There are 5 overlords on the way, though, because Dark is very heavily supply blocked. And it's funny, we make fun of a laser for laser lords. Dark should get the same level of guff. I swear more often than anyone else, I see like, 5 overlords on the way, 7 overlords on the way. I'm like, Dark, you don't need that. Surely not. For now, though, Dark scout into the main base is gonna see there's a third base done. Okay, that's good news for him. That's good news for Dark. He knows what's up. But we are 5 minutes in. There's burrow on the. That's got to be a mistake. There's burrow on the way, but we don't see any tech here from Dark whatsoever. There's no Bailey nest. There's no lair on the way. There's no Evo chambers. There's the lair. This feels, I was gonna say, this almost feels like a map that you could go fairly quick mutas on, but it's so small that even as I would say, yeah, you can go fairly quick mutas, it's fine. I feel like the rush distance is probably too painful to really make that work. So this forward hatch that I've been making a big deal out of is really not going to accomplish much outside of keeping, again, outside of getting creep spread really nicely. No roach jumping off point, nothing like that. So double Evo just done. Bailey nest done right about right now. So it's like a 730 Bailey speed, something like that. That's going to time out really nicely with the lair. So you're going to get Bailey speed on the way just pretty much as soon as the lair is complete. And Dark's just been hitting that drone button. 67 drones sitting here 6 minutes in. Just really nice economy. But just because it's a really nice economy, it doesn't mean he's going to be able to withstand this next round of aggression from a Terran player. And I would not be surprised to see us go up to 8 racks. We're at 5 right now, certainly. But, you know, as we see people in chat, as Land Return is saying in chat, this map is incredible for tanks. And it is. It is. There are so many good tank angles, low ground, high ground positions that I would not be surprised to see ByuN going for an 8 racks. Doesn't have to. And certainly this is a map that's really good for Terran as it goes late with how small it is, how choked out it is. But also, again, the bases are fairly easy to take for a Terran player. A lot of these walls, a lot of these positions that you can get through you can get them through because you mine out a wall. And defensively, you're not going to do that. Man, these Banshees are very low. Hellions will eventually die. But yeah, so ByuN, is this... Oh, he's going to go for 4th base. Again, I don't hate it. You take the forward 4th base on this map, and good luck, Zerg. You put a planetary on that high ground, that is not going to be easy. So for now, we're going to see an Overlord go down. Lings are going to get traded out, but ByuN is going to pick up, loses a couple Marines for it, but knocks some creep down, kills an Overlord. We take those. Ooh, look at Dark though. He's got a Ling drop on the north side, looking for whatever he can find right there. Is now the other mineral wall is going to get mined out. ByuN finds it, so gets a drone or two. Wants to get an Overlord, but not really going to accomplish that. And by the way, Dark is just steamrolling dive. He's halfway done, 7 minutes in. This base on the bottom side will get canceled, but Dark's still on 5, so it's not the end of the world. Doesn't want to lose the drone, obviously, but look, he's on 5 bases. The Terran player's on 3, 4 bases soon. And again, it's a pretty reasonable deal. The big thing here is this drop is going to show up is, again, Dark's hive is just about done. He's going to have Vipers fairly quickly for drop defense to deal with any sort of tanks, which is, again, really important because this map is so good for tanks. Meanwhile, Dark into the main base, he's got some Lings of his own. Did he complete Burrow? He did very early on. That means that these Lings on the Dropper Lord are going to be a little bit more annoying than they might otherwise be. For now, though, it's vision, I guess, more than anything else. The Dropper Lord unleashed two of the 8 Lings. So it's just going to sit here and be annoying. Dropper Lord's going to try to show up once again, and we're going to have a missile turret. ByuN, no. ByuN should target the Overlord. Down, just barely doesn't. My goodness. Thought that was going to go down, but anyway. 4th base on location. I know ByuN doesn't like to build... Oh, come on, ByuN. Like, I was going to say, I know ByuN doesn't like to build planetaries at his 4th base. He's a very greedy player for the most part. Oh, Banshee got a little more damage. I was wondering where that happened. He's a very greedy player, but I'm like, man, surely you're getting a planetary in this position. This is just such a good planetary. I guess if you really, if you want to be really greedy, you can go and build a late command center here and a planetary on the ramp, and that's going to be even better. But man, I'm looking at this, and I gotta say, I really expected the 8 racks. I really expected the up-tempo play because of how good the tank positions are and just how small the map is. But ByuN in this game is opting to go very late. We see 3 more command centers on the way, so he's going to go up to 7 pretty quickly. And he's of this understanding. He's opting into this late game pretty much quick as possible. As I love Dark. Look at this. Long distance mining. Drones onto the other side to try to get some sort of reinforcement position. Some sort of run-by position onto ByuN's really what bases that he would think would be pretty defensible. Which is pretty cool. Well, we got personal cloaking on the way, 3-3 on the way, +2 Mac Deck getting started here. So ByuN macroing it up ever so quickly, developing all the tech that he could possibly want. He's not maxed out, but he doesn't have to be. Because now we have I think ByuN saw that. I think ByuN saw the drone. I think he's gonna know that this is mined out. Does Ling run by? Is he? Maybe he's not. Okay, so he is aware he's going to block this up. He's got a missile turret. He's like, okay, I know what's up. That means this Ling run by. Well, Banelings can bust this down. That is a ton of Banelings as we see. Well, a Nidus on the right side. ByuN, he's got Ghost here. He should be able to handle this. Banelings will be able to bust through this missile turret on the left side. So Nidus is dead. Banelings are now done. And a tank is there plugging the gap. ByuN, you're so smart. Dark very upset about this fact. If someone reads Korean in chat and can translate this 2 minutes delayed, that'd be great. But the big thing here as well is we talk about how this game is going, and really not a lot. I mean, resources lost are below 5,000 in total. It has not been a particularly aggressive game, but Dark has taken a base off ByuN. Dark has every base on his side of the map. Certainly, if we split this across the diagonal, 7 bases for 7 bases. But ByuN, well, he wants to make sure that Dark doesn't take this base. The way that the Terran late game goes in part is you take bases more slowly, obviously, but you kind of play on this idea that eventually you're going to be able to hold the map. You're going to be able to develop this position on the map that the Zerg player is going to really struggle to break properly. So as long as you can get your bases up, you're going to be fine, even if it is a little bit slower. And the way the Zerg goes and responds to this in part is they say, okay, this is fine. I know eventually you're going to be able to slowly wedge parts of the map out. It's going to be really hard for me to defend. So I'm going to take the bases faster, and I'm going to mine from them faster. And I'm going to go, and I'm going to take money from this base that you might want to have eventually. And that's how I'm going to win. But for now, Lings and Banes are going to show up on this base. One of these extra command centers is going to get canceled. Second one's going to get canceled. Banelings are looking for the connections that they can find, but this is just not cost effective here. If ByuN targets like every single Baneling down, he's going to get a couple more back into the tanks. Just 13 SCVs have died. But that is 46 dead Banes. That is 46 dead Banes. Now, that is a ton of Lings that are going to show up on this soft underbelly of the Terran setup. Yeah, there's a tank right there, but tank's going to get dropped right upon. This tank is dead. Bio's going to have to retreat over pretty quickly. Morlings are going to look for the run by, but the Bio is here. Snipes are going to go down on the Dropper Lords, making it somewhat of a one-way trip, even with the Nidus popping up. I mean, it's not like there are a bunch of lurkers or something, so nothing really scary is going to come out of this Nidus, and ByuN again defends very nicely. Dark is trying. He's looking for this access point. But he's not going to find it. So 29 drones on the way all of a sudden. Dark's going up to 100 drones, 115 drones. I think this is for stack defenses. Banelings dropping on top of ghosts. Now, unfortunately, for Dark though, it takes 6 Banes to kill a ghost. That was 4 Banes. 2 minutes ago, Dark saying map is legend, and ByuN saying busy. I'm not. Dark saying, how do I win now? The map is split. I guess that's what it is. It's fair. So Dark's at 101 drones as he tries to suck out all the money, suck off all this money from the map. I thought this was actually going to be for a lot of static defense because 100 drones is a lot, but no, he just wants to mine as much from this right side base as possible. Unfortunately for him, ByuN is here immediately, and he's actually not going to get a lot of drones. Dark is solidly set up defensively for this, so it does get to mine a little bit. Dark's got an insane bank. He's 7k 3k or 7k 2k. He's got that second spire. He's building upgrades. Greater spire's already done. And if Dark can mine a lot out of that right side base, we talk about resources lost differential, and it's only about 3k at the moment, which, given how much has been spent, how much has been lost overall, it's not incredible actually. But the point being is that if you're able to take a base from Dark, as we're gonna see the Nidus get killed immediately, Overlord goes down as well. Each base is like, what is it, 18,000 resources, 20,000 resources, something like that. So if you go, Dark apparently 2 minutes ago was told by ByuN to just build Brute Lords and it's fine. You're gonna win. As he adds more starports. As he adds Hellbats into the mix in the late game. Ooh. Interesting. +3 Blue Flame Hellbats, they no longer one-shot Lings. So getting them into the late game is kind of this interesting idea. Anyways, but point being, right, you get a base from the Terran and you mine, if you mine the entire base out, which is unlikely, but you can lose up to like 40,000 resources lost differential and you can still be in a pretty solid spot. And that's just about equal. That's how much that base is worth. So if Dark's able to mine consistently out of that base on the right side and get a ton of money out of it, it is a just tremendous deal for him. As for now, ByuN taking the north side base. He's now down 1 base on Dark. Well, I guess technically 2. Dark has 1 that he won't, but He's got N-1 of the bases that he can realistically mine from. And what are we at here? 300 minerals effectively mined from each mineral patch. 300 times 8 is what? 2,400? So Dark's built himself about a 5,000 resources buffer. 4,800 resource buffer or mineral buffer. Of course, gas is there as well. Just by sitting here and by holding that position, by taking it early. And remember, resources lost is about a 4,000 to 5,000 resources gap. So from that perspective, this game is pretty even. But I think we're going to go a little bit longer. +3 mech armor is on the way. Adding in enhanced ballistics. Extended range for the Liberators is on the way. Which, by the way, has been nerfed. It is now +2 range instead of +3. So they're not nearly as oppressive as they once were. You can't go and... Well, the big deal is for TVP. But in general, extended range Liberators is just not as... It's just not as good of a thing as it once was. It's still good. And right in the late game, get it. But it's not... It's not quite as good as it once was. Now, what I'm curious about... And I guess we're not going to see this game because this is still very much like a bio mech army. But we saw Gumiho go a ton of battle cruisers in his banger series against Dark last week, where he went in game 5 he goes mech and then he gets battle cruisers and hits this timing where there's nothing there. And you know, I don't know if I would hate it. Corruptors, of course, are on the way as these banelings run forward. Ghosts stay alive. The Hellbats, I think they were in that army. They do go down. But ByuN's going to start to slow push this. Once enhanced ballistics are done, once transformation servos are done, he's going to start to slowly work at this base. And for now, there's going to be a nuke going down. It shouldn't kill much of anything, but it does remove creep. It does remove static defense. And actually, I don't think that static defense burrowed up far enough away. I think it's going to take some damage there. There we go. Spine dies. A couple drones die. And now ByuN moves into the nuclear wasteland and tries to knock this base down. So there's going to be repair for the time, or there's going to be healing for the time being. This base... I mean, these are +3 tanks. There are ghosts here. This feels like a dead base very quickly. Now on the left side, though, ByuN has nothing sieged up. Ghosts, well, they're going to go down. Thors get saved for the time being. So ByuN made the mistake of going on a creep just a little bit too much and is going to have to go and back up. Can we take a look at our resources? Our bank here, I guess. Not resources lost. Dark's at 10k, 5k. ByuN, 6k, 3k. Caduceus reactor now done. So... Well, we will see, of course, the medevacs. They're going to regenerate that energy just a little bit longer. You need less of them, theoretically, or you have a little bit more ability to exist. Dark does retake the base on the right side. So, ByuN, while he knocked the base down and did delay some of the mining, he's not really able to contest it. Well, he's not really contesting the area just yet. So, we got 9 Broodlords, 8 Infestors. +3 air attack on the way, +2 carapace is just about done, +2 ranged attack just about done. Interesting, Dark's getting ranged attack when we have no Hydroden and no Lurker Den, so not as effective. Not like there are any roaches on the map either. I guess this is for the queens. Getting +2 ranged attack just for the queens. ByuN is going to continue to move forward here. Nice neural is going to be that should be a dead Thor. And actually, we're going to see Liberator siege up, and the Thor kills the Liberator on the siege. Very nice. And we should see this get chained. Yeah, this is just going to continue to get chained. ByuN doesn't want to lose the Thor, but instead he loses the Thor and loses a couple Liberators, which is not ideal. And by the way, when we talk about this base, this is a base that has had about 3-ish thousand resources mined. Actually, more than that. That's a lot of money that's been mined from this base. So if ByuN wants to go and kind of trade bottom right for upper left, he really does want bottom right. That's a base that has had far less mined from it. And again, if you're the Terran player and you're trying to get some money on the map, trying to make sure that you mine somewhat equivalently, you do on the right side. It's a little bit more important. But for now, snipes are going to go down. Queens will fall. There are plentiful Broodlords on the right side, so that's not really gonna do all that much. The ghost can't do too much. Actually, there's not a lot of detection. Snipes down are gonna get 1 or 2 Broodlords, which is really solid. Meanwhile, left side, this base will go down again. Dark's mined a decent amount from it, but he doesn't actually get a lot of the drones. They're still alive. the Hellbats eventually fall. But now +3 air attack's done. Carapace on the way. 16 more Corruptors to deal with this Liberator power that is oh so very obnoxious. And ByuN does take the north side. He's going to go and trade upper left versus bottom right. Man, these banks are insane. 10k, 5k, 10k, 7k. No one really wants, in the words of boomers everywhere, no one really wants to work anymore. In this case, no one really wants to play anymore. No one really wants to engage anymore. It's really the big thing is, oh, ghosts are going to go down. Hey, we'll take that. Two ghosts for a couple Banes and Lings. I mean, you can take that one. That being said, this is a lot of drones going down on... I guess they were just stuck over here, but now nuke's going to get dropped in this right side as well. No drones here anymore. And this nuke is... the ghosts are going to go down. Nuke... ByuN, don't nuke your ghosts. Okay, this is going to be fine. Like, that was a scary nuke positioning. It looked like ByuN was going to nuke his ghosts, which is not ideal. That would have vastly brought our resources lost back into some level of normalcy. That's a lot. But for now, ByuN pushing north side. He's got a... Well, yeah, he's got one random ghost here. The Broodlords should pick that off. But now that ByuN has his number of bases, as you'll see this high ground position, there's no money here anymore. So the Broodlords are going to try to break this down. But again, there's not a lot of money here. It's a position worth breaking because obviously you want the orbitals to stay alive, but it doesn't really do much more than that. So the Broodlord count, by the way, sitting at 25. And this is actually a really nice little bit of pressure coming out of Dark. The Broodlings, they're knocking tanks down. They're knocking structures down. The Fungal doesn't really land against a single Hellbat, but the Hellbats are important to defend against this. You want the Hellbats to be able to kill off the Broodlings and go to town, but we're trading bases a little bit here. Dark has this really powerful timing. We got one Viking on the map. Thors are not where they need to be. So this army from Dark is really hard for ByuN to deal with, but he can go for a base grade. And snipes down on the edge of things. These ghosts are getting so much here. It's 5 Broodlords that go down. It's still a ton of Broodlords on the map, but 19 of them is a lot less than 25. So Dark, he's just looking for the inside path. He's looking for this opportunity to knock down all the production of ByuN, knock down all the economy of ByuN. The Queens are walking across as well, and eventually I think we should add some Overlords for maybe for some group spreads so they can go in jet, or so they can go transfuse and keep things alive. For now, it's going to be a Nidus is going to try to do that. But both sides of the Nidus go down, as the Nidus network actually had units inside of it, but Dark, 5 Broodlord or 5 Ultras on the way. And now all the production's going to get camped here. When asked if ByuN has the building upgrades, he does, but there's just so many Broodlords that it doesn't quite matter. Things are dying. 18 Broodlords on the map, 4 Ultras on the map, 17 Ghosts. I gotta say, well, if this is a base trade, I think I actually favor ByuN. I was gonna say, I feel like Dark has, I thought that Dark had far more of the map and should be more sustainable to this, but that's actually not the case. And now, well, Ultra's gonna go down. The Broodlords are in the main base, but they're not all that fast. And look at, I mean, Dark, there are so many positions that he needs to break down on this map that he just can't. So Dark, he's got a ton of money. He has no larva, no production really remaining here. The siege up in the main base means no more Broodlords. He can't make that happen. 5 factories, 6 factories made on the left side. 3 Vikings on the way at a time. Is where are our starports? They're somewhere where the main push is not. They're somewhere where the main thrust of this attack is not. So Vikings are on the way as well. Dark's kind of dead. It's crazy we're looking at it. Dark's dead with a 10k bank. Because he can't make anything. He's got 2 hatcheries. That is just about it. 39 drones. He's still mining some, but it's not enough. And again, there are so many Vikings on the way. Liberate. I mean, the Ghost, you got to be careful. EMPs. Ah, there we go. There's the EMP on the Infestor. Scan's going to get dropped. Should kill off the rest of these as much as they can. They're not even wasting energy on the snipes. Not really. But the big deal is the EMPs were really, really nice. We have 1 Corruptor on the map. That's the grand extent of all the anti-air. So ByuN, he's got this thing in a chokehold right now. The Broodlords are going to try to do what they can, but the Viking count here is just too good. The Liberators, with their with their splash damage is just too good. Dark, 10k in the bank, is somehow going to lose this game. Crimson Court is a map, ladies and gentlemen. Crimson Court is a map, and I'm sure we're going to see it figured out a little bit more and more, but it is so good for the Terran to Turtle. That feels a little bit painful. Now, we're going to see the rest of the Ultras are going to go down. Dark, again, it feels really bad to leave this game with this bang, but the base trade favored the Terran, and ByuN moves on into our finals, just like that.